Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to Indian Racing League. This is the Losail International Circuit in Qatar, and we are back with your usual weekend racing action. This is round 4 of 12, and we have a race on our hands with a full grid tonight here. So this is going to be very interesting, especially with a special condition first of a few races which will have that this season, just trying to spice things up. And this time around it will be the drivers who will need to do 3 stops in this race. I think 2 stops is something which is very doable anyway, considering this track has very high tire wear in the middle sector. But it's going to be a mandatory 3 stop race. If drivers don't complete their 3 stops, they are going to be disqualified from the race. So that's something to watch out for. Maybe we'll see a few interesting tire choices in the race, but in qualifying, of course, to set a representative lap time, you will be wanting to put on those soft tires. But as we speak, you can see the Red Baron, one of the new entrants in IRL this season, and not sure if this is his first race, but definitely a new driver. So let's see how he goes through this qualifying session. Meanwhile, if someone can let me know if my voice is audible on the screen, on the stream rather, so that I don't blabber around forever without a confirmation and like an idiot. So do let me know if you can hear me and if the audio is fine. And meanwhile, let's try to pick up someone. I think Red Baron has backed out of this lap. Let me see if I can find someone who is in fact on a lap. It is Shooter or Dark Knight who is on a lap, and he has a car in front of him. So let's see if that car is going to move out of the way very soon. Doesn't seem to be the case right now. And yeah, that car, not sure who that is. Now he does move out of the way. So Shooter is one corner away from finishing his lap, and this could be the first representative lap time we have. As Red Baron goes for P1 with the 123.2, and Shooter immediately demolishes that with a 121.9, as Srivatsa goes P1 now with a 121.4. So Srivatsa, one of those drivers who did suffer some bad luck towards the end of the last race, and he could have easily been on a podium, but here I think he finished barely into the points. I'm not too sure. And here's the man who has won last few championships back to back. Of course, Jishnu beat him to it last season, but he immediately puts a solid marker redstone up with a 120.9, 5 tenths clear of anyone else. Let's see if someone else is on a lap right now. Maybe Gangster has in fact just started a lap, so we'll come back to him. Noble Garter is also someone to watch out for in qualifying, so let's see how his lap was. In fact, he's moving out of the way of another fast car, Sid Venkatesh, on the intermediate. So is Srikant. So I think this might be just to get a feel in of the track and not use their allocated dry tires for the weekend, considering it is now a mandatory 3 stop race. Gosalia, by the way, has put himself in P3, so it's P2 and P3 right now for the Alpines, but only 7 people setting a lap time. What about Jishnu and Baza still in the pits? So we'll keep an eye out on them, and let's see what others are doing. Meanwhile, would really appreciate a confirmation if my voice is audible, guys. Let me know in the stream so that, or maybe I'll just pause the stream and just hear it for myself. Uh, Either ways, so currently spectating Shadow Noxious. I think he's on his in lap. Is someone on a lap right now? Abhishek is on an out lap. He's on the mediums. So is he saving tires as well right now? I'm not too sure. He's of course on an out lap and is a few corners away before he starts his push lap. Nishan and Voski, of course, Sepoy. Jin Caesar did mention it's a DSQ. If you do not pit thrice, it is a disqualification from the race. So I hope that clears it up. But Jin, also let me know if you can hear me on the stream. Shooter, by the way, good lap time from him with a 21.4. So it is heating up in the battle for provisional P2 right now. But still a long way away from Redstone's provisional pole time of a 120.9. Not sure if that is beatable by anyone, but I'm sure the likes of Basil and Jishnu and even Noble Garter for that matter will get much closer. Right, let's try to pick up Abhishek. Is he on a lap? No, he's not. He has invalidated. Jishnu is on the track now, and he is. So when the next time when Jishnu is on a lap, we'll try to go on board with him for the full lap length of the circuit. Of course, Jishnu winning the championship last season in dramatic fashion in Austria. It was a reverse layout of the Red Bull Ring that we went racing, and an unfortunate incident between Redstone Derp and his teammate I am Rahul meant that Redstone had to pit for a wing change, and well, he did not really pit, but his AI pitted for him, and then after that he did fight valiantly, but just fell short, giving Jishnu the championship. I don't quite recall what was the margin of the victory for Jishnu as far as points table is concerned. But here we go. In the Aston Martin, we are going to go on board with Jishnu for the full lap of Losail circuit, and let's see, he switches on his DRS, keeps to the left, extreme left of the circuit, large runoff areas on this track, so maybe not a lot of safety cars coming our way as he brakes just in time, and there's a tank slapper he has had, missing a couple of apexes there. Not a great start to the lap for Jishnu, but he has plenty of time to tidy it up. Coming up is the fast right-hander, and it's going to be double right-hander as he takes that in the sixth corner, and then going slightly downhill, and also that was a little bit, yeah, that exit wasn't the best he gets in that sequence. And now comes a very technical part of the track as he switches his car from left to right again. And here we go. Now is going to be a triple right-hander coming up. He'll keep to the left of the track to get the minimum angle of turning in. And it seems like he has gone purple in sector 2. Well, that remains to be seen. Almost invalidating, using the entire of the track, and then this is going to be a very fast left-hander. Manages it well. I think he still kept a couple of hundreds on the table as he goes down to the fourth gear before leveling it out. And this is going to be, let's see what kind of lap time he puts. It is very close. That's the closest anyone has gotten to Redstone Derp. It's a 21.2 for Jishnu, and I think if he irons out a couple of mistakes here and there, I think he has the potential to dip into the 120s. What about this man, by the way? URL Basil, our full-time driver now. He has won two back-to-back races as a reserve, by the way. But now he's going to be Noble Garter's teammate, and he is starting a lap. So let's keep an eye out on his progress. Meanwhile, there seems to be a Red Bull. Is that? Yeah, that's Noble also starting a hot lap behind him. Uh, but yes, Jin, I didn't quite understand your question when you ask, can everyone forget to pit thrice except three drivers? On board with Baz right now, and let's see his first sector time. It's a 30.0. I really don't know how that fares with when I compare it with other drivers. There's a yellow flag as Srikanth has retired from the session. And I thought that was not possible since this track has huge runoff areas. But Srikanth has made the impossible possible, and he is the first on track casualty of this weekend. You can see a car is quite off the way here, and as we continue on board with Baz, is very well done through that left hander. He has one more corner to go before he sees the start finish line, and let's see, this could be a potential top 5 for Baz, maybe even further than that. No, in fact, it's P7 with a 121.8, and he is a tenth behind Gangster. But in the meanwhile, his teammate Noble Garter has gone slightly faster than Jishnu. In fact, 1.5 tenths faster. He's up into P2 Noble. So I think usually has been a driver to watch out for in qualifying as well as races. So we'll keep an eye out for him and see if he can give Redstone any kind of competition. What about Abhishek's? Also someone who is very quick, and he seems to have a relatively clear track ahead of him. I think both Mercedes drivers on a hot lap with Sepoy and P17 both yet to set a lap time, and with not a lot of time left in this qualifying session, that's not something that they would be comfortable with, but maybe they will make this lap count as Sepoy goes across the line for and he goes P11. What about Abhishek's? And expect a very good lap time from him. There you go, P2 for Abhishek's, and he's so close. It's what, 24 thousandths of a second is the gap between Abhishek's and Redstone. This is mighty close, and now Redstone has trickled out of the pits. So I think he just did 2 runs. I mean, this is the second run, so a bit of tire saving going on considering the condition this weekend that they need to make 3 pit stops in the race. So maybe just letting a set of soft tires, saving it for the race. But he will be a little bit worried, Redstone, about his margin because it's not too much, and he would want to put a bigger gap between himself and the likes of Abhishek and Noble Carter, at least, if not the likes of Jishnu. Is Nishan on a lap? Meanwhile, Nishan might have just completed a lap. Yeah, I think he's just completed a lap, so we'll come back to him. Seems to be not really saving, not really using his battery, Nishan. Redstone now, has he started a lap? He has, and he has, I think he's backed out of it. Yes, he has backed out of it. So maybe he's going to do 2 runs. That's, I'm not sure what he's doing, but maybe he's going to do 2 runs here, and basically 2 warm-up laps by Redstone, as I think Gangster just moves cleanly out of the way as the Mercedes fast approaching of Vorsky. Is it? Yes, it is, and he has invalidated his lap time, and I think he might have been impeded by Redstone here. Well, this lap is not going to count for Wolski. Right, let's have a look at Redstone again. He- Has he impeded? What is Redstone doing? Has- Sorry about that. I'm not sure what's Redstone doing. He seems to be in the way. But now I think he is going to start a lap. So let's see how this turns out. We're going to be on board with him for a while before we start seeing the likes of Abhishek and Noble Gata start a lap. By the way, Shooter is in P4, so he has overtaken Jishnu. The Jishnu really needs to put in a lap time. Where is he? He is up on his time. He's up by 3 tenths. Wow, what an improvement by Jishnu. And he has traffic ahead of him, and he would hope that he gets a good tow at least, maybe. And this is going to be a good tow for him. It might hurt him a little bit in the corners, but he's going to get a really good tow out of that slipstream. And he goes P1. He goes a full 10th clear of Redstone, who also is a 10th up. So this is going to be interesting now. And let's see what Redstone does. He's up by quite a margin, and at this rate, if he continues to keep his advantage, Redstone will take the pole back, and he might also have a kind of a tow, maybe a distant tow from the cars ahead of him. Across the line goes Redstone, and I think it is going to be. No, it's not. He's lost time. In the third sector, Jishnu takes provisional pole. Abhishek could still be in it because Srivats is up into P4. What about Noble? Noble is up on his time, but first we have to go on board with Abhishek here. And that doesn't seem to be the fastest way across that corner. What about Noble? Noble is going to go across the line. He's definitely going to improve his time. And he now goes provisional pole with a 120.699. What about Abhishek? Abhishek is up by 2.5 tenths. This is a stonker of a lap. But I don't think it's going to be enough unless he has a few more hundreds in his pockets for the final sector. Abhishek across the line. And it is pole for Abhishek by mere hundreds of a second. Gosalia, can he do something about it? No. But we have had 3 or 4 different provisional pole setters in the last few seconds of this qualifying session. It is Abhishek at the end of it who takes pole and is joined by Noble Garter in P2. Jishnu 2 tenths off Noble Garter, and Redstone that time of 120.9. At the end, his banker lap was just not fast enough. That's a surprise, and Redstone being 3 tenths off the pole time. That's not something that was on my bingo card for today. But here's the man of the moment, Abhishek's taking pole, and our championship leader, which is back, been out qualified by the likes of. Okay, I've just lost audio here. Okay, Raman, how about now? Can you hear me now? I hope you can, because now that the race has started, not really able to focus on the race and comms both while I try to fix my mic, as I'm on board with Shooter, who looks mighty aggressive on the back of Redstone. So he's not going to let Redstone breathe easy. Gangster on the back of Gosalia. Gosalia on the mediums, of course. So Gangster might have a chance here. Gosalia moves to the right to defend on the inside. And I think he will keep the position for now. Up ahead, Shooter really on the back of Redstone. Okay, great. Thank you, Raman. His shooter goes down the inside of Redstone. And let's watch this from the vantage point of Jishnu here. Shooter is going to go around the outside. I think Redstone will defend it well. And he has the inside for now. But what a brilliant fight Shooter is putting up. And Redstone will have to be careful. He would not want to slip back down into P3. He seemed to be he would not want to slip back into P4, as Shrivas is now challenging Jishnu for that P5. So very close at the top, and most of the field is still within a second of each other. I think there is one gap emerging, that is Smith, who has a gap of 1.5 seconds of Gangster on the hearts. That's not working out. There is a car in the pits, and that is Shrivas. Not entirely sure what happened. Is just going to go for a move. In fact, it is Noble is going to go for a move. He has taken the lead of the race, as Abhishek succumbs to the power of DRS. Is Redstone also going to follow Noble through? No is the answer. I think is not close enough on this occasion, but it seemed like Redstone was losing some pace as he goes wide. That definitely would be a warning for the McLaren driver. There's a yellow flag behind. I think, has there been an incident? I'm not too sure, but there's definitely a battle going on between Sepoy and Red Baron. Red Baron currently has the position, and all of them, look at that. Smith, 4.5, it's almost 5 seconds the gap Smith has. So there's a huge crash. There is contact, and I'm sure I saw some front wings flying here. This is, yeah, Straight Venkatesh is missing an end plate, and Smith on the hards is really holding a lot of people up, and there is chaos behind him. We'll have to turn attention back to this battle for P1, as Abhishek might just take the lead of the race back from Noble Gata. There's a car streaming into the pits. Is that Shooter? Yes, it is. So Shooter also diving out of the way. Here goes Abhishek round the outside of Noble, and that is him up into P1. He gets his place back. So I see a few drivers driving into the pits. That's Shooter, who has gone in, is come out behind Shrikant. And of course we saw Srivats. Now Srivats, look at him. Look at the gap. Look at the clean air he has. Of course it is going to be a bit of a fight between him and Shooter in terms of who comes out on top, and Srivas has just come out behind Shooter here, and Shooter is on the mediums, on the hards rather. So let's see how this plays out, and maybe Srivas would want to get ahead, but this is the fight for clean air here. That is what they're trying to do. It's 13 seconds to the next car for Shooter, and they want to drive in peace. They don't want to battle each other and cost each other lap time and themselves lap time. And let's see how that turns out for them versus the front pack, which is in kind of a DRS train but might be losing time in the middle sector. Noble Gata now 8/10 of Abhishek, so maybe it will not be very easy for the Red Bull to get past him, as all of them pit. Top 4 pit. And Abhishek, oh my god, Abhishek, that was, well, I don't know what to say. That was not necessary, and that was not the plan for the Mercedes driver. He was in the lead, net P1, Abhishek is now. Well, I don't think he has the race win. I think he's lost the race win. There's a battle brewing behind as Srivats gets past Shooter on those mediums. So Shooter on the hards, Srivats on the mediums, and Srivats is up into P12, and Abhishek with that 10-second penalty probably is out of contention for the race win now, as there are what, four drivers still who started on the softs and are still on those softs. So let's see when they decide to come in. Gangster still behind Gosalia, and I think now is the time when those softs will be feeling pretty second hand to the likes of Gangster, VFix, Azun, and Shadow Noxious. So maybe it's time to get rid of them and go for a tire which is more durable. Let's see if Gangster comes in at the end of this lap. Gosalia might carry on for one more lap, and yes, there you go. Gangster in the pits. I think Abhishek and Redstone and oh, Shooter, what's happening with him? Just seemed to lose position, and he's lost position to Baz. Sonic Hawk, of course, a few seconds behind, and now you see most people coming into the pits. Azun still carries on for one more lap, so maybe he's waiting for a safety car. I'm not too sure, but Sri was putting in a good lap time. He's now up into P9 by the time the pit stops are done, but of course it is a few people who are yet to pit in. Redstone Dub, by the way, has lost DRS to Abhishek, and that's not good news. In all that, Noble is in P8, so Noble also has lost positions after pitting. Noble has really lost out. He's lost 3 positions. He was net P2, remember, he was behind Abhishek, and now he's languishing in P8. And I think Jishnu has a penalty as well. I will check what kind of penalty Jishnu has. Is it a 3-second penalty for corner cutting, or was it the penalty similar to Abhishek where he sped into the pit lane? But that's not helping, and Srivats has caught up to this pack, but Srivats with 2 lap older tires, so that's not going to help. Redstone losing more time to Abhishek. The gap was less than 2 seconds, now it is 2.6, as Redstone goes very wide and he has a 3-second penalty now. So something's quite not right with the 4-time IRL champion, and well, he's losing time hand over fist. Jishnu would want to get ahead of Redstone, but I don't think he's going to do that on this straight just yet. He's going to run out of road, and yeah, that's something to be concerned about for Redstone Dub. Shooter still behind Baz, and they have been caught up by Gangster now, who has made his pit stop. So not a great time for Shooter. Remember, he was fighting for the top 4, top 5, but his gamble or his strategy is not really played out. There is I think that was Shadow Noxious, who was probably not in the best shape coming out of turn 1, but seems to be carrying on now, and let's see what happens. Abhishek, by the way, has caught up to Srikanth, who's yet to pit. So this is going to be an easy pass for Abhishek, and Srikanth is 9 seconds adrift of Smith. So it's going to be very easy. Srikanth gets a 3-second time penalty, and here is Abhishek. Look at the grip, the difference of grip he has. Srikanth sliding all the way around, missing apexes, and it is going to be easy pickings for the race leader, or the net race leader, to take P3. Is Jishnu going to go for a move on Redstone? Is just making Redstone known that he's there. By the way, it is Shooter who has fought back and has gotten a place from Baz, and so has Gangster. So Baz, without DRS, losing 2 positions on the straight, but there's a long way to go here, and if he can stick with these 2, I think he won't really mind too much playing third fiddle to this 3-horse fight. Redstone, by the way, now catching up to Srikanth, but in the middle sector is where it would hurt him the most to follow the, the Aston Martin. I think Abhishek is doing a great job at gapping Srikanth, and I think is just putting further tenths and seconds between himself and Redstone Dub. On board with Jishnu here, this could be a double overtake as Jishnu gets a much better exit out of that corner. Redstone is going to go for a move. Jishnu is also going to go for a move. Further behind, it's Noble Gata who gets ahead of Srikanth, and Redstone does keep the position ahead of Jishnu. I thought Jishnu might just go for a double overtake here, but Redstone is up into P4 as Jishnu now comes under attack from Noble Gata. Srikanth losing more time to this pack, but he won't mind. He's on the hards, and this is not really his battle. So I think he let Redstone and Jishnu pass in the way that he didn't really lose any time. And behind, between this battle, as Baz has finally made a pit stop, is down in P19 on the hards. It is Shooter who's on the back of Gangster, and they are not really far off from this battle between Redstone, Jishnu, and Noble Gata. So the likes of Gangster and even Shooter, they still have a chance for this. Gosalia finally pits from the lead of the race. Smith carries on, and Gosalia goes on a set of the soft tires. So him and VFX, the best of the friends, are going to be on the softs. The only two drivers who are on the softs at this stage in the race. Where is Jishnu meanwhile? Jishnu gets a move done on Redstone Dub, so he's up into P3. Now Jishnu in clean air. Let's see if he can pull away. Redstone seems to be struggling tonight, and he's already lost 6 tenths to Jishnu in the first few corners. But it will be interesting to see if Jishnu can pull away and break out of DRS from the McLaren, as Redstone still has Noble chasing him. Behind now, Srikanth has of course lost a position to Shooter, but then he's keeping up with him. And Gosalia now with fresh softs, he's going to catch Srikanth now. Srikanth is the only driver right now who's yet to pit. So I don't know exactly what his strategy is. Those hard tires will go a long time, long race, but I don't know if this is the optimum way to go about his race, Srikanth. So let's see. Gosalia quite quickly catching up to him, and it's going to go down for a move, and it's going to be easy move for Yash Gosalia. Is up into P8. Good move, very efficient from Gosalia. And back to this battle. Can Redstone get ahead of Jishnu? I don't think he's going to do that just yet. And yeah, that's it for this sector. For the behind, it is Shadow Noxious, who is being caught by Srivas, who was, I think he was in top 5 or top 6 at the start of this race, but is running a different strategy. Is now up into P15, P14, make that, and it could be P13 once Srikanth has also decided to pit. So let's have a look at the number of pit stops. This we have, except for Smith, everyone has made a stop, and it is Srivas and Basil and Nishan and VFX and Sonic who have made 2 stops each. Alright, so thank you Jin for letting us know. Jishnu has a 10-second for speeding in the pits. So does Abhishek. So Redstone still very much in contention because of those time penalties. But 2 more pit stops to go after this one. You never know how many penalties are coming our way, as Gosalia has now caught up to Shooter, and it is going to be very easy for Gosalia to get this move done, as there is some accolade for Srikanth in the chat. That's something that you rarely see. Gosalia up into P7. This is turning to be a nice race for Gosalia. He's made one stop. Of course, he has a long way to go, but I think this stage of the race has a lot of pace because of his tires and his, driving skill, of course. So uh, let's not write off Gosalia just yet for maybe a podium. You never know. Wow. So in a matter of seconds, Ritesh has gone from calling Srikanth the GOAT to asking Srikanth to retire. So yeah, I think that's typical of anyone who gets to know Srikanth. They dislike him the next minute. Jishnu gets another time penalty. I think VFix got a penalty as well, but Jishnu is piling on that penalty. That's not going to help. Smith Shah finally into the pits from the lead of the race. This is going to be his first pit stop. And there's more pit stops here. There's 3 cars back to back. That's Abhishek, Redstone, and Jishnu. All 3 of them in the pits. Gangster continues on. He takes the lead of the race. And Gosalia is going to snatch that lead away from him. It was hardly a few meters for which Gangster was leading the race, and it's now Yash Gosalia on the soft tires. Well, it's 3-lap old soft, so I think within a couple of laps those softs will also be a little second hand. But enjoy this, Yash Gosalia. If there was a red flag right now, he would be in for the money. Shubh Kumar up into P5. This is going to be chaos, because different people with different strategies and so many pit stops happening. It is going to be fun, as it is Redstone who has taken the lead of the race. He's in P7. I'm not sure what kind of penalty he has. Srivats is up into P8, but because Jishnu and Abhishek had long time penalties, look at them in P12 and P14. That is not going to help the race one bit. Redstone has a 6-second gap to Azun, and he's being caught by Srivats right now. But with that 6-second gap, Redstone can really flex his hard tires, as Shooter gets a 3-second time penalty. So this is going to be very important for people to avoid getting those time penalties. As Gangster is in the pits, Shooter inherits P2. And what about Noble Garter in all that? Noble on the hard tires has been silently making progress, and this is going to be a good result for Noble if he plays his card right. Ritesh asking, when will Srikanth DNF? Well, he DNF'd in Collie, he crashed out, and I didn't think that was easy to do, but well, so for now we have all the 20 drivers running, and I would like to hope so that we don't get any major crashes, not at least until the last few laps of the race, so that we have more chaos. But yeah, word for Noble is up into P7, and let me have a look at the stops. He has had 2 stops. So there's only 1 stop to go for Noble. So looking good right now. What about Yash Gosalia? 4 laps on those soft tires. When does he decide to pit? There's a yellow flag. It's Sid Venkatesh in the gravel. Gosalia continues on. And it's Srivats. So we're going to continue on with this battle, which is Srivats versus Redstone Up, and in fact I'm to go on board with Noble Garter to see when does Srivats overtake Redstone Up. If he can, it seems to be a little bit far back, and Redstone seems to be holding on, and yes, he is going to hold on to P3 for now. right? So further behind, it is Jishnu and Srikanth exchanging positions. I think that would have been very friendly between the two of them. There's a proper love-hate relationship between those teammates. Of course, Jishnu is a reserve. Probably Srikanth is as well. As Srikanth gets a time penalty now, not going to help his case. Smith on. He's made only one pit stop until now, and with 14 laps to go, he'll have to make two more if he wants to take any sort of point from this race. But going long and is 9 seconds ahead. By the way, Gosalia is now in the pits. Smith goes wide. That would have been a warning. And what is the tire choice for Gosalia? It is a set of mediums. So Gosalia has gone, I think, medium, softs medium. I'm not too sure, but he's going to get overtaken by a lot of cars who are in the pit, so he might come out in maybe P7, P8, P7 for Gosalia, and he has one more pit stop to make. Srivats, by the way, still not getting past Redstone Dub, so Redstone being very stubborn in that slipstream, or rather, despite the slipstream which Srivats is getting, Redstone is holding on to that position, and he still has that 10-second gap to Smith. So let's see when Smith pits. Only 3 laps on the current set of tires, so he still has some way to go. But the likes of Gangster and Shooter have caught up. Look at Shooter trying to go round the outside of the kick salver. No way through there, but maybe he has another trick up his sleeve. Does the Dark Knight. For now, he stays put in P6. He has a time penalty, so that is not the best of the scenarios for him. But I think someone like Srivats and Noble looking quite good. As here goes Shooter again. Is he going to go for another move? Srivats, by the way, has lost touch of Redstone. So Redstone has broken DRS from the Alpine. And as things stands, it seems to be Noble who might just get a move on. Or Srivats in the pits. Srivats decides to pit. Redstone has taken half a second out of Smith in half a lap. And here goes Gangster on the back of Noble. He's going to go round the outside. Noble holds his line and holds his position. He will force Gangster to go round the outside again. And as things stands, Noble still has his P3 intact. But this is turning out to be a good battle as Shooter also tries to... Oh, Noble gets a time penalty. Nope. Not happening for Noble tonight. Right, so let's have a look at pit stops again for the... So except for Smith, everyone has had 2 stops, and Srikanth... So Srikanth and Smith only drivers who have yet to make 2 more stops in this race, and Srivats being the only driver right now. He's down in P16, but he's the only driver who has made all 3 pit stops. But he's on a set of hard tires. They will go the distance, but I'm not sure how competitive he will be, considering there will be a lot of softs and medium runners towards the end of the race. Let's see if Dark Knight or Shooter can get a move on. Gangster is going to go for a late move. Yes, he is. Shooter down the inside of the Sauber, and we still don't know who's come out on top. Yes, there you go, Shooter. What a brilliant move. Can see Gosalia behind this pack, and now Gosalia is going to go for a move. Is he? Gosalia makes his way through. Gosalia gets a time penalty and all that, but Gosalia has made his way through. It is Gangsters coming back. Gosalia under braking wasn't really the best of that braking maneuvers, and is now being caught up by Abhishek, who is now served his penalty and is penalty free. Right, so Noble on the back of Redstone Derp now. Both of them have one pit stop to go, and so does Shooter. So let's see who decides to blink first. There's still plenty of laps to go, so you might not want to pit just yet. But 10 laps to go after this one. By the way, here's Noble on the back of Redstone. Redstone did try to take a different line through that corner in an effort to get that position back, but that's not happening, and now it is Shooter who's trying to get past the McLaren as well. What happened to Srivats? Did he make a mistake somewhere? Not Endless Shop is up into P13. Sepoy gets a time penalty. And let me just right, so 10 laps to go after this one, and it is getting a bit confusing here with the number of stops. I think most people have done 2 stops except for the likes of Smith and Srikanth and Srivats. So let's keep an eye out on Smith, who's still going on, and I don't know what the plan is here for Smith. Maybe 2 more stops on the softs. Is that what he's thinking? It's Redstone who blinks. So Redstone is in the pits as Gosala puts the fastest lap of the race. Is up into P4. Is Shooter going to go for a move? No, he's a little bit far back. But okay, I ignore. What am I ignoring? Why do I hate Srikanth? So Ritesh, once the race is done, and if you are in touch with Srikanth, ask him about season 9 and what he did to the Ferraris. I think that would be your answer as to why I hate Srikanth, as Srivas just comes out ahead of Redstone, but Redstone, of course, with those medium tires will have much better grip and tires for the rest of the race. 3 pit stops done for Redstone as well, and this is going to be fun now for the rest of the race. What about Smith? Does he decide to pit? He's been on this tires for 7 laps. As we assumed, he might go for 2 sets of softs towards the end if he has those in the locker. There's a time penalty for Red Baron, and is Smith coming in the pits? Yes, he is. Finally into the pits comes Smith from the lead of the race. Is locking up Noble in the pits as well. Shooter continues on. So Noble, that is going to be his last pit stop. Gosala continues on as well, and let's see what Smith goes on for. A set of softs right now, and he has 1 more stop to go after this one. Where does Noble come out? Noble is still in the pits. Nishan has carried on. He has been a dark horse, and I think he might still have at least 1 pit stop to go, if not more. What about Redstone? Redstone is a far way back. Noble would come out just behind Nishan here and ahead of Shubkumar. So Noble is up into P6. He's battling Shubkumar and is just behind Shubkumar, but I think he should be getting ahead of the Williams pretty soon. So Noble is in P7. He has made all his pit stops, but the likes of Gosalia, look at Gosalia is doing so well, and even Shooter for that matter, they might really have something here, unless of course they are yet to pit and both of them have time penalties. So Abhishek could be also in the money. There's a yellow flag. Is that a Haas? Oh, that might be Srikanth. He was ghosted, so he maybe had an incident with someone. As Sid Venkatesh tries to get ahead of him. But yes, on the back of Shooter is Gosalia, and look at Shooter is still continuing on. Both of them want to wait until they can put on a set of soft tires. Gosalia, look at the closing speed, and Yash Gosalia takes the lead of the race for the second time. Is Shooter going to fight back? Yes, he is, but Yash sweeps round the outside. They both have very similar tire age, and as things stands, It is Gosalia up into P1. We have a YouTube account by the name of Srikanth Ki Mummy. There is a lot of fandom for our budding pilot, and yeah, let's see if he does get on the podium. We will have a quick chat with him after this. Azun and Srivats were battling it out, and Srikanth has retired from the session. It's in the pits. So as soon as Srikanth's alleged mom is in the chat, Srikanth decides to call it quits, and Azun seems to be going very slow here. By the way, what about Abhishek? Is caught up to the back of these two. I think Abhishek has already made his pit stop. No, he's yet to pit. Abhishek is yet to pit as well. Does any of them pit? Not yet. Hello Srikanth, welcome to the comms box, or at least the chat. Why did you retire? Let us know. Srikanth, I'm not inviting you for 6 laps. You can stay in the comment section. It's the last 6 of the race. It's going to be very chaotic as Gangster gets ahead of Azun. And is Azun going to go for a move? No, he is not. He stays behind in P10. Right, so Noble Carter is P5 and is 6 seconds adrift of Smith, who has to make one more pit stop. Gosalia and Shooter also have to make one more pit stop, and so does Abhishek. So, and they're all 13 seconds ahead of Smith. So, I'm not sure how this is gonna go. And Srikanth, there you go. That's the number of pit stops. The top 4 yet to stop one more time, and then Shubh Kumar also yet to stop one more time. A lot of people have stopped all 3 times. So there's your idea. Is anyone going to pit? Yes. Shooter and Abhishek both in the pits. Gosalia continues on. And Abhishek, one more drift into the pits. Jishnu gets another time penalty. Gosalia carries on and is now going to catch Sid Venkatesh. Sid Venkatesh is about to be lapped, but as things stand, Smith carries on and Shooter and Abhishek both are coming out. It's very close between Abhishek and Srivats. Abhishek comes right out behind Srivats and without. Oh, that's a huge. Oh my god, that is absolute chaos here. Look at the number of cars in that midfield battle. Abhishek into P8 is behind Srivats on the hards. So Abhishek absolutely will have the better tires until the end of the race as Gangster runs into the back of him here. This is absolute chaos, and that's what we wanted. Shooter has gotten ahead of Redstone Derp, so that's him up into P4. But remember, he has the likes of, oh my god, what a save from Abhishek. He is driving like a man possessed. Gosalia gets a 10-second penalty for speeding. It was looking so well for him because of his split strategy, but now he has a 10-second time penalty. Redstone has a penalty as well, and Abhishek is very impatient. He wants to get past that Alpine, and that Alpine wants to get past the Williams. The Williams might be coming into the pits. Now, there you go, Williams straight into the pits. Here is Abhishek now on the back of Srivats, and this is going to be for P6 right now. It could be more. It could be more for Abhishek. He is 2.5 seconds adrift. Redstone up. But you can see it is going to be very easy for Abhishek to cruise up to every other car except Smith, who's yet to pit. Alright, so Srikanth, who are you talking about? Who has quit the server? I have no idea. I'm not following, but I am following Yash Gosalia, who is also yet to pit. Remember, so I don't know where this will put him. Maybe P9 is where it will put him when he decides to pit. And I'm currently spectating Abhishek. He's going to the fastest lap. Redstone just lets him through, and Abhishek is up into P4 now. What about Srivas? Srivas is going to, and Gangster as well. But first, it is going to be Srivas. Smith is finally in the pits. Azun gets a time penalty, and Redstone has pitted. He didn't really need to pit, but he has pitted, and Gangster and Redstone is retired from the session. Alright, so Srivats has been overtaken by Gangster, but Gangster has a time penalty. Abhishek should be winning this race, unless, let's have a look at time penalties. So Noble has a 3 second, and Abhishek is 7 seconds adrift of Noble right now. So I think everyone has had made 3 stops, so there's no point in looking at the number of stops. So let's just keep an eye out on penalties. And well, Noble can still win this race. Noble can still win this race if he can continue on. He's on a set of mediums. Abhishek's tires are definitely faster, but at the same time, Noble has free air, and Abhishek will have to catch up to Shooter, who might possess pose a threat to the Mercedes. So 3 laps to go after this one, and Abhishek's tires, of course, are better now, but in the next couple of laps they will also lose some thread, as there's a, I think Gosalia is in the pits. Yes, Gosalia is making his pit stop, his final pit stop of the race. Or had he already made his pit stop? Is this his fourth pit stop? Yes, this is his fourth pit stop. So not entirely sure what happened there, but it's not like Abhishek is really catching up a lot. So Noble might still have it, and let's wait and watch what happens, as Gosalia is going to be out of the points as we speak. He's going to be overtaken by Azun and maybe even VFix. Yes, VFix does go through. So Gosalia up into, down into P13 after his final pit stops and with couple of laps to go. So game put Yash on the used mediums. Okay, I completely missed that. Good spot, Jin, and that is his fourth pit stop for Gosalia. So that is unlucky, but someone who is hoping to get lucky is Srivats. He has a shot here at the podium, maybe, if he plays his card right, but it's just that Gangster has overtaken Srivats and seems to be the car in control, as Srivats is going to get a shot at overtaking Gangster on the main straight with DRS with slipstream. And let's have a look if he can close enough to go for a move. He moves out of the slipstream quite quickly. It is Smith who is setting the fastest lap of the race, but is down in P7. And you can look at Abhishek's now. His tires are kind of giving up and not making the kind of inroads he was earlier. That 10-second time penalty for Abhishek really is hurting him, and is hurting a few other players as well, of course. But without that, he would have been comfortably in the lead and in pole position to win this race. Srivas is still going to try his best to get ahead of Gangster, and in all that, Baz has also caught up to this pair. So out of nowhere, our championship leader, who might not be the championship leader at the end of the race, is still very much in contention for a good points finish. Right, Abhishek has finally caught up. to shooter now. He is in DRS. He was more than 2 seconds, then slightly less than 2 seconds. 1.5 seconds is brought down the gap by less than half a second on shooter, and this is the last lap, mind you. So Abhishek will get P2 no matter what, even if he doesn't overtake shooter, but at the same time he would want to get it done on the track so that there is no issues in the stewards room later on. Srikanth, let me know when the sprint quali starts. I had no idea. uh, I'd completely missed that part, that it was a sprint weekend. So when is it happening, sprint quali? Is it happening now? Is it in 3 minutes time at 11? Maybe it is. But we turn our eyes to Noble Garda. What a race it has been. It is going to be the first win of the season for Noble. It has been a brilliant dive, and in all the races he has started so far, he has gotten a podium. It was P3 in Brazil, it was P3 in Las Vegas, and it is going to be a win for Noble Garter in Losail. Shooter gets P2, which he will be P3 after Abhishek overtakes him. After the checkered flag, Gangster does get overtaken by Srivas mainly because of time penalties, and Baz also gets ahead of him. So Baz is P5. Smith gets a respectable P7. Srikanth in P8. Shubh P9. Sepoy in P10. Azun gets no points for all his effort. Gosalia unlucky with the strat, or the tire choice rather. He is P12. We fix another poor race for him on the wheel in P13. Sonic Hawk, sorry Sonic Hawk, didn't really cover you tonight. He's in P14, and well, we are going to have two more finishers, and that is the Red Baron in P15 and Sid Venkatesh with a 3 second time penalty. Can he get Red Baron on the line? It's very nip and it's very close between the two of them, and I think he did. He did get Red Baron for P15, so Baron will be classified as the last of the finishers. We will have a look at whether he got him on the line, but of course at the same time we'll have a look at the pit stops. I don't know if there's a way we can have a look at the number of stops. Yeah, there you go. I have completely forgotten how commentary works. So yeah, it is P1 for Noble and is followed by Abhishek, who took the pole. Shooter gets a very good podium out of all that, and what a drive it has been for the likes of Battle and Gangster coming from back of the field to get solid points finishes. Azun finishes P9, so he gained 11 positions in all that. And we had all drivers complete at least 3 stops, with Gosalia getting 4 stops, and of course Shadow Noxious also having stopped 4 times in this race. Let me see if I can quickly get Noble and Abhishek's in, because well, sprint quali has started more or less. The shooter Abhishek's, and I have to get Noble Garter in. All right, so we have
Himalow's voice is still
Abhishek,
loading. Yeah.
Shooter, and Noble, all three of them in the party, and we'll make it quick since sprint quali has started. We'll start with you, Shooter. What a race, Shooter! Walk us through that crazy Grand Prix, and especially your decision to pit early. I think you were one of those people, along with Srivas, who decided to pit early into clean air. It did work out
Yeah.
in the end, but there was a time where it was feeling a little icky, and we were not really sure whether you will get good points out of that strategy.
No, my strategy was to pit in the first lap itself. But yeah, once we started racing and we were very close, Abhishek, Redstone, Noble, and I don't know how Jishnu were there. so, so yeah, yeah, definitely Jishnu will be there. So we were racing, and yeah, so I thought, okay, I'll extend for two more laps and pit in the third lap. And yeah, pretty sure, like as you said, it should be a four-stint race. So I was not aware till my last stint at where am I finishing. So yeah, so the race went like all lap was push lap, and yeah, a noble, amazing lap on quali win, like amazing, and yeah, congratulations to both of you. And it was a good race, I'll say. Very different, very unknown territory, but yeah, a good fight with Yash, Redstone, and then Abhishek as well. So yeah, it was good from my
Yeah.
side.
Abhishek's got the pole by the way. But thank you.
Oh yeah, yeah, Abhishek, yeah, in the
Yes.
last, yeah,
Yeah,
in
you
the,
beat me.
that time, yeah, yeah,
Yeah, and moving
yeah.
on to Abhishek, what a lap! I think I exclaimed pole at least three times in the last 30 seconds of that qualifying session. But walk us through your qualifying. It seemed like the time was just tumbling down. Of course, Redstone didn't really improve by much, but then it was Shooter and then Noble, and then finally you took pole. And just how much are you regretting that 10-second penalty for speeding in the pits, because it could have been a win otherwise?
Yeah, firstly, congrats to Noble and Shooter on the podium and win. Qualifying, well, I was planning to do just two laps actually, one on the medium, one on the soft. But then on my medium first run, Srikanth decided to park his car on the racing line.
Lovely.
So yeah, I crashed into Srikanth. So I couldn't do my banker lap on the medium. So I did one run on the softs, and I saw the times were quite close. So I thought, okay, I'll just go another lap on another soft. We can manage in the race later. And yeah, I was just trying to focus on the lap. I saw I was getting the fastest lap notifications on the screen, but I was just ignoring it because I didn't want to see what the time was. I didn't even see my time till I passed the lights. So I was just trying not to go off track limits and keep it clean, and it was a good lap, better than last season, so I'm happy about that. And the race, I think, actually it was quite fun. It was very confusing as well. I had no idea if I was fighting people for position or no. It was very confusing in that aspect because especially after I got the 10 second, I didn't know who I was fighting where. Because I
Last
came
moment.
out and there were so many cars in between me and Noble and me and Redstone, and then there would be no cars, and then there'd be so many cars again. So I had no idea what was happening. But yeah, it was quite fun, quite a good race. In the end, I was trying to catch Shooter, but then I was also one warning from a 3 seconds, so I didn't want to risk too much there because I saw both of them have penalties ahead. But yeah, it was quite fun. And yeah, I mean, the 10-second penalty, of course, I will find a way to bottle it.
Yeah, but fair enough.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
it was difficult for me to keep a track of pit stops and strategies in the comms box, and I had the whole layout in front of me with information. So I can imagine how confusing it would have been for you just driving your own car and not having as much information. But I mean, you made almost the best of it, and except for that 10-second penalty, it could have been a very different result for you and 7 more points. But I think at the end of this result, I believe you are still leading the championship from Baz. The difference was 4 points ahead of this race, and now that you have 18 more to Baz's 10, so I think that's you who's going to lead the championship after the fourth round. So good luck for the rest of the season, and maybe we will again spice it up in a few rounds and put some special conditions, uh, just to see some chaos on track, because might get a little bit boring otherwise. Moving on to our race winner, Noble, the dark horse, as people were calling you, some of them that we were not
Dark
expecting.
horse.
In terms of, I think because your quali pace, of course, has been very strong throughout, but race pace is where there were doubts, not in the comms box, but at least in the Discord channel, I can see. Walk us through your race because I think you got a penalty as well. And think was there any doubt towards the end because Abhishek was on fresh softs, he didn't have a penalty, was catching, but of course those softs would have run out eventually off grip.
Yeah, you want me to start from quali as well,
Yes,
or no?
yes, please. Yeah.
So, I mean, the quali it was good. It was very good. I'm not mad about it. But at the in my first run, I think I got impeded, and then I had to use the same set of soft because I wanted to save one anyway. So, and then that kind of messed up my idea of the amount of grip on the track and how much grip there is because session to session is very different, especially if it's random. Um, yeah, and then I just took it a bit slowly or more cautiously for my last run, which was P2. I'm very happy about that. It was good. It was a good lap. And then in the race, I was struggling again with a lot of. I was struggling with the rears basically. I was losing it in that left-hander in second sector. So that was very hard because I mean right now my thumb is very inflated right now. There's a lot of inflammation in there, and then, because I was holding the wheel so hard, I kind of hurt myself. But yeah, I made a lot of mistakes over there, and then that kind of cost me a lot of positions, and then I also got a lot of luck because of the 10 seconds and the redstone struggling. So after that, I just tried to keep it slow and bring it home. And the 3 second penalty I got was very stupid. I got it in very stupid places. So I was lucky with that also that I was more than 3 seconds ahead of Abhishek's.
Yeah, well, you mentioned luck a few times in the last couple of minutes, but I'm sure it was a lot of skill as well to get that car home in P1 despite the penalty of track limits. But yeah, what a race, Noble! And now that you have Baz as your teammate, what's going to be the team
Yeah.
dynamics like? Both of you going for the championship. Of course, he is going to be in P2, but you are catching up, and you must have gained a lot of points on him. So, what's the kind of dynamic that is going to emerge in the next few races, since seems to be that both of you will be occupying the same piece of tarmac for a few races at least in the next few weeks.
Yeah, I mean, I'm very happy with my teammates. We can finally win the constructors after three failed attempts. But yeah, I hope we have a good fight. If I can fight for the championship, if I'm able to race all of the races, all of the remaining ones. So yeah, I mean, I'm very happy with my teammates. I hope I can beat him. Um,
Yeah, we hope
yeah,
so too.
but we'll
For the
see.
sake of IRL, uh, we are all rooting for you, Noble. But congratulations once
Thank you.
again for the race win, and congratulations to Shooter and Abhishek for their podiums. We will see you next week for Abu Dhabi. Remember, it's a triple header as far as night races is concerned. So we'll see you next week for Abu Dhabi, and enjoy the rest of your weekend, gentlemen, and enjoy the sprint quali as well, which has just gotten underway in real life F1. See you.
Bye everyone.
You see,